It has finally arrived. I am so excited to see this. I put a video up a couple of days ago. We got a new sponsor, Controllermodz. These guys are awesome. Look at their website. If you're after a custom controller, they do so many awesome designs, it is unreal. Now the mod side of things, it's completely up to you guys whether you use. For me, the mod that I went for is the buttons on the back, which is pretty much the same as using an Elite controller or a Scuff controller. But you can also get other mods as well, which improve your gameplay if you're into that sort of thing. So if you want to be able to build on Fortnite faster, that sort of stuff. But for me, it was literally the Dominator buttons. Let's get this open. Now we've got the awkward thing of trying to unbox using one hand. I am not multi-talented. This never ever goes well. So far, we seem to be doing okay. Usually we have to pause the video and try and do it a different way. But there we go. Oh, look at that. So it's still in the original box as well, which is pretty cool. I thought it would be, oh no, or is that just a sticker? Oh, it's just a sticker. That looks sick. I can't wait to actually play with this. I mean, the one that I have been using has had paddles on, but the triggers and stuff felt a little bit off. With this one, it looks amazing. Everything's pretty much standard on it. I am going to do a review actually using this as well, rather than just doing an unboxing. I think this is where we might have to try and pause the video, because trying to open this with one hand is not going to go well. Yeah, we just ripped it. That was easier. Good job I don't collect boxes. Like some people do, they want all the boxes looking perfect. Me, I'm that dude that just tears them apart and gone forever. We have another one. Thank you. You're welcome. Send a controller selfie via DM and we will share it. Awesome. I might actually do that. Let's have a look at this. Now, I'm not actually sure what these buttons on the back are going to look like. The Dominator buttons, I'm used to paddles. By which I mean, like I say, if you've seen an Elite controller, it's literally like a big thing, like that big on the back that you kind of press with 2 fingers. But let's have a look what characters are on this. Like Jason, Chucky. Is that Freddy Krueger maybe? The scary clown. But that looks awesome. I mean, the main thing is, it's very weighty. It's got more added to it rather than taken out of it. Some custom controller companies that you get, they'll feel dead light and flimsy, like it's their own model that's kind of been modified. This is literally just a standard Dualshock 4 with a custom plate on it. And these buttons on the back. It feels so comfy. Same with these. I mean, the last custom controller that I had, it was a little bit stiff. Like where they'd taken it apart, it's as though it hadn't been put back together properly, if you know what I mean. But this literally feels like I've just bought it from Game, or like I've literally ordered it from PlayStation themselves. It looks awesome, it feels awesome. The buttons on the back though, I don't know. It feels comfortable, like your finger naturally rests on it and it feels like you're not accidentally gonna press it. The one thing when I used an Elite controller trying to get used to is once I first put them on, I kept accidentally pressing the buttons. These, you actually have to press them in. It's not dead light, if you know what I mean. So when you're holding the controller, you don't naturally press the button in. You do actually have to put quite a bit of pressure on to use it, which is good. Now, I always use the one on the left-hand side for this button, simply because on a lot of games, I play a lot of shooters, when you're sniping and that sort of thing, you have to hold in this button to hold your breath. So for me, it's holding this button and then I can still move around without having to push it down. And for the other side, I always use X for jump. I'm that horrible dude that jumps around corners and stuff all the time. Yes, people hate it, but I don't care. But we're gonna jump into a random bit of gameplay whilst I'm using this controller, see how it feels, and I'm gonna review it at the end. But just on the fact of the controller itself, it feels beautiful. It doesn't feel like I bought it from another company. It feels like I bought this from PlayStation themselves, and this is the design that they make, if you know what I mean. But for the extra price of actually getting a custom controller with these buttons on, I think it's only like 20, 30 quid cheaper than buying a brand new Dualshock. So if you're after a new one for Christmas, and you like the idea of having the buttons and a custom faceplate, which looks amazing, definitely check them out because it's worth the extra few quid. A lot of companies that I've looked for, because I was looking for one of these a while ago, the websites that I came across, obviously like Scuff and it was like £125 for a controller that was exactly the same as this and had paddles on the back. And I think these are around 70 or 80 pounds, so much cheaper, and it feels awesome. But let's jump into some gameplay and do a review on how it feels to actually play with. You know what? I'm gonna try something a little bit different. I'm gonna jump on Call of Duty, and I'm gonna use this instead of this. And you might be like, what the hell? They're two different consoles. That's where this bad boy comes in. Now this I picked up, so whenever I wanted to play PlayStation and use this, I can do, so I can mess around with all the paddles and stuff, easy enough. But if I ever want to play Xbox and use this, I can do. Now the only problem is you have to play wired, which is a little bit annoying, but I kind of wanted to see how this kind of thing with the buttons on it compares to an Elite controller, because these are super expensive. This cost me £160 and it's not fully customized. This was like £80 and this is like £10. So I'm curious together whether or not this can match up with the way that I play with this. So I'm gonna jump in Call of Duty on Xbox and play with this PlayStation controller just to see how it matches up, because with Call of Duty, I own it on Xbox because that's where all my friends play. Until they bring full cross-platform across everything, that's where I'm kind of stuck playing it, or I have to play on my own. So let's jump into a little bit of a gameplay and see how I can play with this on an Xbox, which is weird, I know, but hey ho, let's do it. Right, so some gameplay. Now I was going to kind of try and do it live, but as usual, something always goes wrong. First off, I did a few games where it didn't actually record, it came out corrupted, and then second off, I just couldn't play at all. So I carried on playing for a little bit just to try and get a decent bit of gameplay for you guys, but kind of had to use the theatre mode to kind of capture it, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to kind of talk over it rather than commentate while I'm playing it. Now, first thing that I'm going to say is, it is very comfortable, but for me, I've got used to using an Xbox controller whilst playing Call of Duty, so it did feel awkward trying to play with a PlayStation, but very comfortable, very easy to use. Now, I didn't have to use the left dominator button just because I didn't use a sniper, I was just running around with an SMG. Very comfortable, very easy to kind of play with, easy to get used to. The buttons are actually very comfortable when you're playing. I weren't too sure how it'd feel, whether or not you'd accidentally press them, whether or not they feel like they were in the way. To be honest, you don't even kind of notice them, your fingers just rest over them, and you do have to put pressure on to actually press them when you're playing, so you don't accidentally do it. Jumping around, something that I always do when I'm playing Call of Duty and most other kind of shooting games. Again, very simple, very comfortable to use. It actually did feel really nice and really smooth to play with. I've used other controllers in the past where when you're aiming, it's kind of not smooth, if you know what I mean. If you need to aim slightly to one side, it kind of flickers, and to get it on point exactly where you need it feels really, really awkward and it's a bit of a pain, if you know what I mean. It's just not smooth. With the controller that I'm using at the moment, the one from Controllermodz, it is very smooth at aiming, which I do really, really like. Even with the Elite controller, I was playing Ghost Recon yesterday, and it was a pain trying to get a headshot. It was just kind of flicking past the heads, if you know what I mean. So even with the Elite controller, it wasn't as smooth as I'd like it to be. With the Controllermodz controller, it was very, very smooth. I've been using it on a couple of other games since, and I've also tried it on Ghost Recon, and it is very smooth to kind of get your crosshair in the exact point that you want it, which is really, really nice. Now, during the video, you've seen it pop up 10% off. If you want to try and get one yourself, if you want to have a look at what designs they've got, definitely check them out. For mods, the stuff that you can just mess around with in games with your friends, but for me it was the Dominator button mod. It's the one thing that I think most people are going to go for, especially since it's so cheap to pick up. Make sure you check them out. The link is at the very, very top of the description, along with the discount code which you've seen pop up during the video. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, a like would be awesome. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you are new to the channel. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.